Hello and welcome. A very happy Diwali to all our viewers. These are the big headlines tonight. Rishi Sunak is the UK's new Prime Minister, the first non-white Hindu PM of the country. He's also the youngest at the age of 42. Sunak gets the support of an overwhelming number of Tory MPs. What a Diwali for him.
I am humbled and honoured to have the support of my parliamentary colleagues.
Rishi Sunak's road to number 10. He only became an MP in 2015, steered the UK economy during the COVID lockdowns as finance minister, and now holds the top job at a critical time. Prime Minister Modi celebrates Diwali with Jawans in Kargil today, where he says peace is impossible to attain without power, while stressing that India has always considered war as the last option. Delhi's Chief Minister says the city's air quality is getting better, but credible data says it's the world's most polluted city even today. The forecast is for severe smog by tomorrow. Stubble burning from Punjab and Haryana is also going up, impacting the national capital even more. Cyclone Sitrang intensifies. Heavy rain and strong winds are predicted for Bengal and the northeast tomorrow. And Diwali is celebrated across India and the world. Well, on Diwali, Rishi Sunak is the new Prime Minister of the UK, the first Prime Minister of Indian origin, a practicing Hindu, and at the age of 42, he's also the youngest. The path was cleared for Sunak after he secured the support of most Tory MPs in the leadership race, and his rivals Boris Johnson and Penny Mordaunt dropped out. Sunak had lost the race to the Prime Minister's post to Liz Truss only last month, but after she made a mess of the economy, the Tories turned to Rishi to bail them out.
I'd like to pay tribute to Liz Truss for her dedicated public service to the country. She has led with dignity and grace through a time of great change and under exceptionally difficult circumstances, both at home and abroad. I am humbled and honoured to have the support of my parliamentary colleagues and to be elected as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. It is the greatest privilege of my life to be able to serve the party I love and give back to the country I owe so much to. The United Kingdom is a great country, but there is no doubt we face a profound economic challenge. We now need stability and unity, and I will make it my utmost priority to bring our party and our country together, because that is the only way we will overcome the challenges we face and build a better, more prosperous future for our children and our grandchildren. I pledge that I will serve you with integrity and humility, and I will work day in, day out to deliver for the British people.
Well, Radhika Iyer joining us live from London now with the very latest on that story. Radhika, of course, it's a historic day. It's happened on Diwali. Rishi Sunak, we understand, has also spoken to Conservative MPs off camera. What was the message from that?
Well, he's on his job already, from what we understand from sources. He's already in conversation with his peers and with his colleagues within the Conservative Party to form his cabinet. And we're hearing from sources that he may retain Jeremy Hunt, who is the finance secretary, clearly indicating that his focus and his area of focus in this job is going to be fixing Britain's economy, which has been in turmoil since the last few weeks. I'm coming to you from number 10, and I can see a lot of people gathering already to try and see what kind of developments are going to take place, whether he will already move into his new residence, the most exotic residence or address in London, which is number 10 Downing Street. But there is a bit of procedure that is to take place. Liz Truss will now travel to Buckingham Palace to formally tender her resignation to King Charles III, take an appointment, and further to that, Rishi will be invited to form his government. But he's already on the job. From what we know, he is trying to get his cabinet in shape to try and get to action. But there's more than one challenge that Rishi will deal with, because he's not just now the administrative head or the top job that he has, which is to be the Prime Minister, but he's also the leader of the Conservative Party. So a lot of political challenges in hand. And one of the reasons why Boris resigned is because he felt that the party is not very united at this stage, and it is going to be a challenge. So the same challenge will be passed on to Rishi to try and keep the flock together for now and keep or resist the growing demand for a snap general election.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Rishi Sunak and his family, which is of great interest here in India. Of course, Radhika, the fact that, he is of Indian origin, he's married to Akshata Murthy, the daughter of Mr. Narayan Murthy, the co-founder of Infosys, and he's sort of worn his heritage on his sleeve, hasn't he?
He has. His Ready for Rishi campaign, which was launched in June or July, just when he wanted to take over from Boris Johnson, started with a statement which said that he comes from Southampton, where he grew, where he was born. He grew up there, and he was born to Indian descent parents who were very hardworking people, pharmacists in Southampton, and he was doing a double shift of studying at university, coming back at college, coming back and helping his mother at the Sunak pharmacy, which was there in Southampton. So he has often spoken about his heritage, and at the same time has always spoken so highly of Britain, about how this has been the land of opportunities and how he can dream of becoming the Prime Minister of Britain. So all of these matters were very, very crucial to his campaign. So he has never really shied away from his heritage, his origin, and that, many would say, has actually worked in his advantage, particularly in the last 24 hours when we saw a lot of racial comments on Twitter which were coming about, and that really turned the boat for Rishi Sunak, as well as MPs of the Tory who wanted to be seen as very diverse and very inclusive. So we saw Boris's backers started to back Rishi Sunak after Boris backed out of this challenge. So Rishi, again, a little bit about him, a Stanford graduate, also went to Oxford. He met Akshata Murthy, in fact, 12 years ago at Stanford, and the couple have been married for the last 12 years and have two daughters, who have very Indian names. Krishna and Anushka are their names. We know that last year at number 11 Downing Street, as the finance secretary, just neighbour to Boris Johnson as Prime Minister then, he lit diyas just outside his residence on Diwali day, and today, this Diwali, he's going to be actually potentially moving in as soon as 24 hours from now.
So joining us, these are the latest pictures we're getting from London of Rishi Sunak greeting Tory MPs. Just new pictures that have come in the last few minutes. Senior British journalist Andrew Whitehead joins us now. Professor Shruti Kapila of Cambridge University also with us. Andrew Whitehead, describe to us why this is such a big moment in British politics today.
Well, first of all, happy Diwali to you and to all your viewers. This is a really historic moment. It doesn't banish the stain of empire and the stain of racism, but for the first time, a person of colour has risen to the very top job in British politics. 20 years ago, it would have barely been possible. In fact, not much more than 20 years ago, there wasn't a single black and Eurasian Conservative Member of Parliament. Now we have somebody who, as your correspondent was saying, very clearly identifies as a Hindu and is of Indian origin in the top job, and that is just immense. In terms of a signal about inclusivity, you couldn't want a more emphatic statement than this.
Absolutely. Professor Shruti Kapila, this is a discussion actually you and I have had over the course of the last few weeks while this leadership race was on. Actually, if we look at the way the Tory leadership race has played out over the last couple of months, you had a lot of people with non-white backgrounds who were front runners for the Prime Minister's position. So it actually says a lot, the fact that the Conservative Party has been far more diverse in recent years than one would have expected.
Yeah, thank you, Nidhi. Thanks. Good to be back. It really is as if a Muslim became a Prime Minister of India, because, of course, religious minorities occupy the same position as ethnic minorities occupy in Britain. So it's historic. Secondly, it's also the 50th year of African South Asians in Britain. So it's a very important moment for the likes of Rishi Sunak's parents, who were driven out of Africa in the early 70s during the Africanization program. Third, race operates very differently in America and in India. And in Britain. So for all those reasons, it's historic. Having said that, I think there was so much anger in the wider British public that 150,000 Tories were going to be handed over the decision once more, that I think the Tory parties kind of sort of saw the writing on the wall and they had to go with Sunak, who is of course seen to be a safer pair of hands. I don't know what is a safe pair of hands just at the moment, because the economy is absolutely shambolic. But of course, his track record during the pandemic is going to stand by him. So interesting times, difficult, challenging times, but also all said and done, a historic day.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the challenges there, the economy being in the state that it's in. Andrew Whitehead, he therefore has a double challenge before him, managing the economy and also ensuring the political unity of his party.
Yes, and both are going to be very difficult. He'll get a bounce, of course, as newcomers to a top job always do. So for a while at least, the party will rally round him. And we've already had people from different wings of the party expressing their loyal support. But the Conservative Party is deeply divided and even more demoralised. And in the opinion polls, it is a long way behind the Labour opposition. And that is because it's made a mess of something that it's always been quite good at, which is managing the economy. So Rishi Sunak's priority will be to reassure the markets. It'll be to navigate a way out of the cost of living crisis. And that will inevitably mean public spending cuts, probably quite big public spending cuts, and possibly tax increases as well. Now that is something which will cause a lot of disquiet to ordinary voters and to Conservative Party members. So whether he can do both, which is being a good steward of the economy and a good unifier of his party, I'm not sure.
Shruti Kapila, coming to the challenges that lie ahead for Rishi Sunak, one of them would be getting a trade deal with India in place sooner rather than later. Is it good for India that he's Prime Minister?
Well, that's a difficult one, and very much on certainly my mind what is going to happen to the FTA, because we know for a fact that Johnson was a major Indophile and had thrown a lot of his personal weight behind the trade deal. We don't know much actually, though of course he is a believing Hindu. It's actually quite unclear what really Sunak thinks, apart from being connected to one of the most wealthiest families in India, related, not just connected. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to the FTA at this point, because of course he also, talking about the divisiveness, has incredibly prejudiced South Asian figures in his party, like Suella Braverman, who has really triggered the stalling of the FTA, the hard-won FTA, which has gone on for many years. Plus, indeed, of course, Preeti Patel, let's not forget her, who looked like an absolute liberal in comparison to Suella Braverman. So I think the party is divided on questions of not just immigration, diversity, but also on relations with India, America, Europe. And it's fair to say that it is now going to be Labour Party's next election to lose. The question is by how much and indeed when. Because, when are the elections going to take place? And I think Rishi Sunak is going to have a very important holding job to do while trying to save the economy from complete disaster.
Professor Shruti Kapila, Andrew Whitehead, thank you very much to both of you for joining us on that big story. Prime Minister Modi celebrated Diwali with Jawans in Kargil today, where he said that peace is impossible to attain without power, while stressing that India has always considered war as the last option. The Prime Minister, who's been celebrating Diwali at various military facilities since coming to power in 2014, also said that all three defence forces have taken steps to reduce their dependence on imported equipment.
हम उस परंपरा को मानने वाले हैं जहां हमने युद्ध को कभी पहला विकल्प नहीं माना है। हमने हमेशा ये हमारा वीरता का भी कारण है, हमारे संस्कार का भी कारण है कि हमने युद्ध को हमेशा अंतिम विकल्प माना है। युद्ध लंका में हुआ हो या फिर कुरुक्षेत्र में, अंत तक उसको टालने की हर संभव कोशिश हुई है। इसलिए हम विश्व शांति के पक्षधर हैं। हम युद्ध के विरोधी हैं, लेकिन शांति भी बिना सामर्थ्य के संभव नहीं होती। कारगिल की इस विजय भूमि से, आप सब जवानों के बीच से मैं सभी देशवासियों को और पूरे विश्व को दीपावली की हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। पाकिस्तान के साथ एक भी लड़ाई ऐसी नहीं हुई है जहां कारगिल ने विजय ध्वज न फहराया हो।
Well, Delhi is the most polluted city in the world right now, according to an air quality index measured by Switzerland's IQ Air, which is one of the most credible agencies in the world. However, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal tweeted today that Delhi is not in the list of the 10 most polluted cities in Asia, citing some other data, which includes 8 cities from India. However, if you look at credible data agencies, including official data, it shows, for example, that the most deadly pollutant in the air, which is PM 2.5, it currently is at 400 micrograms per cubic meter here in Greater Kailash, where our office is in South Delhi, which is 80 times the safe limit as per the World Health Organization standard. Now, stubble burning from Punjab and Haryana is also rising, and that is also going to impact Delhi even more. There is a warning for severe smog tomorrow, the day after Diwali, not just in Delhi, which is expected to be particularly bad, but also cities like Mumbai and Ahmedabad, where pollution is set to increase. My colleague Priyanshi has more.
Delhi is the most polluted city in the world right now, according to live rankings by IQ Air. Now, Delhi's air quality has worsened with Diwali and winter combined. Meanwhile, the Delhi Chief Minister has tweeted saying that Delhi is not in the list of the 10 most polluted cities in Asia. The Chief Minister was quoting a World Air Quality Index project report by AQICN. So this is a different report than the one that we are mentioning. He said that people of Delhi have worked very hard and we've improved a lot, whereas we have improved, it's still a long way to go. That's what the Delhi Chief Minister said. So he's reporting, quoting a report from AQICN, but IQ Air, which is a credible Swiss global air quality monitoring company, says that Delhi tops the list of the most polluted cities globally. Delhi and Mumbai are among the worst 10 polluted cities in the world right now. Now, how bad is the pollution right now? Delhi is breathing toxic air, to say the least. According to the Central Pollution Control Board's data, in some areas, Delhi's AQI is above 400, which is in severe category. What does this mean? Severe air quality index means that the pollution is even affecting healthy people now, and it is seriously impacting those with existing diseases. The major pollutants in Delhi's air are PM 2.5 and PM 10. PM 2.5 in Delhi's air is above 300 micrograms per cubic meter. This is well above the WHO's safe limit of 15 micrograms per cubic meter. So we're all breathing severely polluted air. And this is not all. It could only get worse from here on, as it's Diwali. Data from the System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research, which is SAFAR, a national initiative introduced by the Ministry of Earth Sciences, says that firecrackers could make Delhi's air quality index 25% worse. It projects that Delhi's AQI will be in severe category after Diwali on October 25th. Now, let's understand that with a range of promises and plans by the Delhi government, has the pollution situation become any better? The Diwali Eve pollution was the lowest since 2015. But while it is getting better, it is still in poor category, as you can see, as it's still at 259, lowest in the last 7 years. This is data by the Central Pollution Control Board. Now that's about Diwali Eve. The pollution increased on Diwali morning. Let's look at the air quality index for Anand Vihar station, which is one of the most polluted areas in Delhi on Diwali day. Delhi's air pollution was higher than last year at this station. It was at 400, which was higher than 393 recorded last year. Now the usual politics and the discourse is that stubble burning is responsible for Delhi's pollution. But is that really the culprit? Well, the share of stubble burning in Delhi's air pollution is just around 2 to 3%, according to SAFAR, which is the ministry from the Ministry of Earth Sciences. And this share is much less than what it was in 2021. In 2021, it was above 15%. This red line is for 2021, the red line is for 2022, and the black line is for 2021. Now, state governments have been promising that farm fires will come down, but data from SAFAR says that fire counts are at par with last year. As you can see, the red and black lines coinciding, and they were close to 1600 on October 23, despite promises of reduction. But stubble burning, as I said, only contributes 2 to 4% of Delhi's air pollution, according to SAFAR. What are the other main reasons? Industries, dust, vehicles are the primary sources, according to a central government affidavit in the Supreme Court. But vehicles and industries pollute throughout the year. So why does it really get worse now? In this season, the change in wind direction, the cool air entraps the pollution in the air, according to the Center for Science and Environment. And added to that, the heavy traffic and more vehicular pollution during Diwali and the firecrackers and farm fires all compound the pollution problem. And in the coming few days, the pollution in Delhi could only get worse.
Meanwhile, the Met Department has predicted heavy rain and strong winds in Bengal and the northeast as the cyclonic storm Sitrang intensifies and moves towards Bangladesh. In fact, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has also issued a statement appealing to people to avoid going out unnecessarily, particularly near the sea, including the Sundarbans, saying that arrangements have been made by the state government. An Indian Air Force plane carrying 69 personnel from the National Disaster Response Force landed in Agartala earlier today. A total of 119 NDRF personnel will be deployed in Tripura to counter any likely fallout from the cyclone. There is a red alert for Tripura, Meghalaya and Assam, and an orange alert for Mizoram, Nagaland, Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh. And we wish all of you a very happy Diwali. We leave you with pictures of celebrations across the country. Goodbye.